dealing with the loss of a loved one. There isn't anyone amongst us who hasn't lost someone we loved. In fact, it's highly unlikely that we've lost just one. We've probably lost several. Do you ever wonder why it doesn't get any better? Do you ever wonder if the next big loss is going to be that big wave that washes us clean overboard, that breaks us? Let's talk about love and grief. I'm Sandhya, and welcome to Dynamic Living. We start by zooming out. Let's just say that you've heard about somebody dying. You maybe read about it in the newspaper. Let's look at a couple of different scenarios. The first is just a name and a face that you saw. You might just say a prayer for him and his family, but you're not really feeling anything much. The next case is, say you know the family of the person who passed away. In that case, what are you feeling? Empathy? You're putting yourself in that family's shoes and thinking, I know what it's like to lose someone I love. I know what it's like to feel that pain, and your heart goes out to that person. The third scenario, say it's a person you knew quite well, someone you worked with, or someone you shared a common interest with, or just someone that you knew had a zest for life, a love for the outdoors, or something in common with you. What's going on there? Suddenly, you're seeing a connection, an identification with yourself. You're seeing yourself. And that's where you see a finality, a finiteness to this life, a feeling that suddenly this won't go on. Your own life will not go on. And it's a different kind of feeling that you feel. In all of these scenarios, the loss is no different. Somebody lost a life. And yet your feelings are so different in all of these scenarios, which then must tell us that it's really about what's going on within us. Now, if I asked you to think about somebody you really loved that you lost, can you still zoom out? Can you still analyze your feelings like this? Probably not. That's because our connection, our identification, our attachment is so great. But if we're able to analyze and think about this, perhaps we can learn to deal with life, and perhaps we can learn to deal with loss. What's going on with someone who's very close to us? When we lose them, what do we feel? We suddenly feel like a part of us is gone, something that gave us connection. Here was somebody who loved us. Here was someone who made us feel something. Here was someone who defined us in a particular way. I am a mother because I have a child. I am a daughter because I have a father. And so on. So it's our sense of identity, it's our sense of feelings, our emotions, our expectations, all of this that we're dealing with. But the fact is that when a person dies, and no matter how tragic or protracted the circumstances of his passing were, to the best that science knows and to common sense, he no longer feels anything. There's no more sensation, there's no more awareness, there's no more consciousness, at least not in the biological sense. That also means that there's no suffering going on there. And yet we suffer. What we grieve is our loss, our pain, our past that we shared that's now coming front to mind, the future that we will never have together, the feeling of anger, the feeling of outrage, the feeling of unfairness of it all. How could this happen to me? How could you do this to me? All of this is about us. And giving ourselves understanding is the first step towards healing. Sometimes when our loss is so great, it can even kill us. There exists a condition called the broken heart syndrome, where stress hormones just flood our bodies and it mimics a heart attack. And yes, it can even kill us. You see that often in cases of parents who've suddenly heard about their young son or daughter who passed suddenly, or the wife or a husband of a spouse that has shared a long relationship and this just came as a big shock to them. How do we protect ourselves? How do we lessen the impact of this? How do we learn to deal with this? To make sense of it all, our brain needs to find answers. One explanation is that we take on a particular body, a mind, in order to fulfill a particular purpose. And when we find that this body or mind can no longer serve us, that's when we abandon it. Now, there's no science that backs this, but this can help us give closure, give us some understanding of why this happened. But you can find your own understanding if you think about it and if you spend some time in contemplation. So the first step when you have a loss in your life is to just retreat a little. You need to take care of what's going on in your feelings. In this, we start by analyzing, recognizing what we're feeling. Yes, it's pain. Yes, it's hurt. Yes, it's anger. With a little bit of thought, we're able to separate these out, and we see certain things. Regret for things that we didn't do is futile. All we have is the present and the future. Anger at the person's passing is a fallacy. Thinking of the unfairness of it, equally a fallacy. So many things happen in this world that we have no explanations for, and we need to be okay with that. If there's action to be taken, that's a separate issue. But we need to deal with our emotions first. And once we recognize the pain that we're feeling, that's our grief. Accept it. We need to learn to sit with our pain. We need to learn to express our pain if we have to. And nobody can tell you how this is to be done or how long this will take. Whether it's recognizing all of this within yourself, where it is in your body, where it is in your mind, what it requires. Do you need to write something out? Do you need to eulogize the person? Do you need to sit with others? Take help from other people at this time? Take care of yourself, take care of the people most close to you and those who need the help. All of this can only be done if you have terav, a certain centeredness about it. We're so quick today to take pain away from ourselves and away from our loved ones, to distract ourselves, to numb the pain, to distract the pain, but it doesn't always go away. And so we learn to make friends with pain. Once you've accepted this, and once your pain becomes manageable, then an equally important step, I believe, is action. You need to think about what this person meant for you and how best to honor their memory. Yes, they died. It's something that you cannot change, but you continue to live. What is it that you need to do? What is it that you can do? Today, I think you can pick an action that's most authentic to you and that best honors the memory of the person that you lost. And finally, time dulls even the harshest of pains. Give it time, and it is for you to continue to live.